Hello everyone, so this is going to be a video about life after boot camp. I've had this requested and also I've been thinking about it for a while after I went ahead and made my life during video. But yeah, we're just going to address just sort of what life after boot camp feels like and what you can sort of expect. Results may vary, of course, but I'm going to detail my experience and some thoughts. So I started the boot camp in, I believe, June of 2020, and I ended in November, and it's about 5 months or so. And I left my job in October of that year because I wanted to focus on trying to finish the boot camp a little bit earlier than like the estimated 6 months that you get at the beginning of your enrollment. After I graduated, I was going hard on LinkedIn. I was doing 10 applications a day on LinkedIn using the Easy Apply, or I was going directly to the company's site and was just, applying there. I highly recommend doing both for every single application if at all possible. The 10 applications a day came from the last person I interviewed with at the boot camp. They were just suggesting some stuff that I should be doing after I finished the boot camp. I remember there was like this, I heard from a lot of people that like 2 to 3 months was like the average time if you were, working on getting a job after the boot camp. I don't want to, it took me about a month or 2 months to get my job. But I don't want to go ahead and say hey, this is what's going to happen to you. I would probably emotionally do I think it was 6 months. I would feel more comfortable saying 6 months just because that's the guarantee that Thankful gave me. Yeah, I got my job in December just before the year ended, luckily, and it is remote, and it is my first enterprise developer job. I've freelanced before, I've done my own coding prior to the boot camp, etc. But yeah, it took me about a month and some change after graduation to get my first developer job, and apparently the first one's the hardest. And you can also email people. The Bootcamp recommends you reach out to people directly, you network instead of trying to just do applications, which I guess I could say I recommend doing that, but I didn't end up doing that. And also that's not how I got found. But increasing your chances to get a job is the name of the game. So if you can do as much as you can, yeah, do that. Yeah, so I also did a lot of coding interview prep. I also started this channel as a result of post-bootcamp because I wanted to show what I could do as a developer, and I highly recommend finding some other ways of showing that you code. I definitely recommend having your LinkedIn filled out. I recommend having a website with your content and like a GitHub. At least having your own personal website, a GitHub, and a LinkedIn. Those are like the bare minimum things that you need to be doing after bootcamp to sort of do maintenance. I was doing commits almost every day-ish, and I was just doing prep. I would do leak code, and I was just looking up all I could about data structures and algorithms. And I did that every day until I started getting more interviews. I only got a couple, a handful. I applied to at least 300 places, I think, at least. And there was only so many that actually got back to me saying we want to move forward. I got a lot of declines, which was nice. Not every place declined me, technically, not everyone got back to me. And yeah, a few of them wanted to do interview. And then I actually didn't even get my job that I currently have through, applying. It was actually someone had reached out because of LinkedIn, and was just hey, we have this job role that might fit with you, can you get back to me? And that's how I ultimately ended up getting the job. So and it was daily. It was a grind where I would just wake up and do the same thing nearly every day. You're going to have to deal with that. You're going to be doing whatever your routine is for post-grad until you get a job, essentially. So you need to be prepared for that emotionally and physically and everything. Make sure you have a space, because I was also coding. I was doing videos for the YouTube channel. I was also coding projects separately, GitHub commits. So you just have to figure out a routine that works for you, and stick to it. I had an Apple Watch, so I had a daily routine tracker thing. I highly recommend some sort of tracking of the stuff that you need to do every day, and just be really, it's a privilege to be able to get some of these jobs, and it's hard, it's fairly competitive, so just be prepared emotionally for that. Don't tie a ton of your self-esteem and worth to the amount of responses and stuff that you're getting while trying to get a job, because it will drown you. But if you're persistent, I'm sure you can get a job fairly easily. I did Thankful, so there was like a refund guarantee if I had been putting in the work with looking for a job. And yeah, so the biggest takeaway is make sure you have LinkedIn, GitHub, and your own personal website. Get into a routine. Try not to be devoured by the system, essentially. And yeah, I think that's it. It's weird how I just managed to compress 3 months of my life into that. But if you have any other specific questions, please let me know. And I know that there's certain seasons where getting a job is a bit easier, but also I don't have access to that information. I know that like a couple of months ago, I was getting emails and messages from recruiters and everything. So like March-ish, I guess. And I think there's just like seasons for software developers. And if you're able to get that information, it might make it a little bit easier for you to heighten or prioritize your search during those pockets. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. And yeah.